What's happening in China? Or let me rephrase, what is happening in China again? It's been 3 years and the world is still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, which was first reported in China. And now, another threat is looming large over humankind. There are hush-hush developments that are being noticed as 2023 comes to a close. From videos emerging in the public domain, and there are few of those right now, that hospitals in different cities of China are brimming with full capacity. More than usual cases of an infection. But this is not the usual flu. China itself has described this as a case of Mycoplasma pneumonia or walking pneumonia, and seems to be the most likely cause behind pediatric illness, which means respiratory concerns affecting children. This means kids are the most confirmed patients in this case. And with all things in dictator-ruled China, there is little information coming out on this. There is still no clarity if the disease has already spread like wildfire or is slowly spreading and can be controlled. According to healthcare professionals, the bacterial species behind this new disease is called Mycoplasma. This bacteria develops over time, transforms into pneumonia in infected individuals. This is also called walking pneumonia. And one of the reasons for that being given is that because the symptoms are mild. But that's for now. It also includes increasing high-grade fever. Not many are being hospitalized with any urgency. Now, China says, not a new disease. They don't find anything unusual. Do not worry. One would want to believe what China has to say. But having learnt lessons from the COVID pandemic and China's restricted information release, I would say we better be prepared. 13th November, the first case of this mysterious respiratory illness was reported by the Chinese National Health Commission. Now cases are also being reported from South Korea and France. Now, similar to the coronavirus spread, this disease spreads through prolonged close contact. So if you have a constrained family space, or children can catch it at, for example, their school and educational institutions. Doctors have said symptoms occur within 2 to 3 weeks of infection, which include gradually increasing fever and cough, bronchitis and sore throat. And this can last from weeks to even months. But here's why the alert is important. Beijing has reported a 40% increase in Mycoplasma's positivity rate, which means it refers to a volatile nature and a higher multiplying rate. Let's be fair. A disease can erupt anywhere in any nation, and history is evident of enough plague and epidemic that has affected the world. It is not a comment or an accusation against the people of China, but their government, their authorities. It is China's filtered information in the modern times, not speaking truth on the severity of the cases, has cost the world heavily, and specifically India, a lot of deaths during the COVID pandemic. China has also earlier reported the Asian flu or the Hong Kong flu, but the world overcame that. But it was during SARS-CoV in 2003, which was a severe acute respiratory syndrome that caused a worldwide global epidemic in China, believed to have been transmitted from bats. Eventually, over 8,000 people across 37 countries fell ill due to this respiratory disease. SARS spread swiftly too from continent to continent and lasted for around 8 months. And then the COVID-19 pandemic hit. We all know at least one person around us who we lost to the coronavirus spread between 2020 to 2022. The virus till date has claimed the life of approximately 70 lakh people worldwide. Hospitals around the world had never seen such an inflow of patients in modern times. A lot of casualties could have been avoided had authorities, the government in China, immediately alerted the world or closed the borders temporarily right away. Listen to my colleague in conversation to a whistleblower activist who had blown the lid off on the COVID pandemic in China. And what does she have to say this time with a new respiratory illness emerging?
In Shanghai, I saw videos and social media posts saying that in a single day, 400,000 people could have already been infected, and in next week there could be 1 million people infected in one day.
In 2020, the World Health Organization chose to trust China and delayed the confirmation of deadly COVID-19. This time, the WHO has learnt the lesson possibly and acknowledged a new virus spreading in China monitoring the cases and asking for details right away. Chinese authorities were forced to respond this time to the WHO. They did with a report that talks about clusters of undiagnosed pneumonia in school children. So now the big question, what is India doing? Are we taking this lightly or are we prepared? Government at the center has issued a directive. States have been put on alert. States and union territories have been asked to review respective healthcare infrastructure, implement the operational guidelines for revised surveillance strategy in the context of COVID-19. Kerala, which was one of the first hit during COVID pandemic, but also was appreciated how it restrained the spread of the virus. Now Kerala Health Department is on high alert, monitoring cases in the state, specifically of international travelers. Maharashtra was also one of the worst hit. But again, compared to other states, and despite close proximity of space in Mumbai, for example, the local administration had managed to implement checks in time, ensuring that a bigger catastrophe does not happen. Now, the existing COVID infrastructures have been told to become fully functional. Let's go across to the hill state of Uttarakhand, and that is very important. It has issued advisories. The state has 3 districts, Chamoli, Uttarkashi and Pithoragarh, that are bordering China. So that will be important. Desert state of Rajasthan has asked officials to set up rapid response teams, organize mock drills to check capacity and have a nodal officer in place. Gujarat has strengthened infrastructure. Karnataka has advised citizens to stay cautious of the seasonal flu and of the infection, specifically if it has affected children. Tamil Nadu's Director of Public Health and Preventive Medicine has instructed the Health Department to set up surveillance of the respiratory diseases and strengthen the medical infrastructure. Haryana has also instructed Health Department to immediately report unusual clusters of respiratory diseases. Even Directorate of Health and Family Welfare Services in Puducherry have advised everyone to strictly follow the practice to wear a face mask in public places. Is your state on this list that I mentioned? Tell me in comments, what should your state do? What should India do at this juncture? For now, no state has reported abnormal increase in respiratory diseases. And I reiterate, and quoting the Union Health Ministry advisory, that the situation currently is not alarming. Cases are being closely monitored, so do not panic, but stay cautious. So what can you do to protect yourself? This is what the medical health experts have suggested, and this is similar to what had been said during the COVID-19 pandemic. Cover the mouth and nose during a cough or a sneeze. Regular hand wash should be a priority. Avoid unnecessary face touch. Use a face mask in crowded places. People with chronic diseases are advised to approach nearest health facility if you suffer any symptom. Fever, runny nose, cough and difficult breathing are the symptoms you need to watch out for. I hope we do not have to witness an epidemic in this lifetime again. But for that, 1, our government will have to ensure no excuses this time. Arrange precautionary measure before the disease hits India. And 2, you be a responsible citizen. Start following caution right away around you with your hygiene. Because a society's survival is a collaborative effort, not a selfish adventure. Take care of yourself and your family. I will keep you updated on this big story. Thank you for watching.